Hello, Louise. Welcome, and welcome to everyone else, of course, those of us who are first timers like myself, or those of you who've been at many of these events, possibly 10, 20 or more. I know certainly Roy has been at many of these events, lots of the people from the Chamber have, and a lot of those who registered for today have certainly been at lots of our events, so welcome. So we've got about 69 people who are with us. We'll wait for a few more to join us and then we'll get started. Okay, we're 12:05. I think we might get started. Numbers have certainly eased off at the moment. We're sitting at about 69. We're still expecting quite a few more, about 20 more people, but I think we'll get going because we've got a jam-packed session. So first of all, welcome to everyone. Today, I'm Lisa Moore. I'm President of the Dandenong Chamber of Commerce, and we're here to celebrate the 2020 AFL Grand Final charity lunch for Make-A-Wish Australia. We've got a great lineup of guests. We've got some fabulous prizes. We've got an online auction, and I'm just going to give you a few housekeeping details first, and then we'll get started and I'll hand over to the people that you really want to hear from. So a couple of things first. You'll notice that when you join us, you're on mute, and we'll have you on mute throughout the presentation section. It just allows us to have better quality of hearing for the people who are doing the presentation. Second thing of all is we're recording today, so if you're not comfortable with that, you are welcome to turn off your camera, but we'd encourage you to stay on so that you can engage with the rest of the people. For those of you who are wanting to communicate today, and it could be about a technical issue you're having, it could be about a question you want to raise regarding our guest speakers, it could be some comments you want to make, or it could be in regard to the online auction and how much your bid is, or it could be to check what our link to the charity website is so that you can make a $20+ donation to Make-A-Wish and go into our lucky draw prize. So to get started, I want to welcome our co-sponsor and our co-organiser for the event today, and that is Roy Sanderson. Thanks, Roy.
Thank you, Lisa. Welcome, everybody. I can already see some notes that people have said that this is their first grand final function with the Chamber, so welcome. On behalf of the organising committee and the sponsors, it's my honour to welcome everybody to this 2020 Grand Final charity lunch with a difference. 20 years the Chamber, with our sponsors, have been running this charity fundraiser. We've had some great guest speakers, and I thought I might just name a few. Some of you will remember those who are regular attendees at this annual function. Chris Judd, Matthew Richardson, Dane Swan, Brendan Goddard, Brad Scott, Rex Hunt, Tim Watson, Sam Kekovich, Spider Everett, Alex Jezelenko, Peter Bazustow, but none more prestigious than today's guest speaker, Carlton coach David Teague. And thank you, David, for joining us today. We much appreciate it. I would also like to thank our special MC, John Shaw, OAM. John is a director for Ray White Chelsea and he has been awarded the Order of Australia Medal for his charity work. John has been doing our charity function for 20 years and has never been paid a cent for his time and effort, and it would never be the same without him. John, karma is a great thing, so we wish Ray White, Chelsea, and John personally great success in business and his life. But on top of that, without notice to John, John actually has a radio show, and he's a DJ 2 mornings a week with a radio Port Phillip 98.7. And you can find this if you wanted to search on Facebook, either 98.7, or you can search on Facebook by the name that John runs this radio show under. Wait for it. It is John Shaw's Scrambled Eggs Breakfast Radio Show. So please support John as much as you can, because we appreciate the effort he helps in relation to this fundraiser that we've been doing for 20 odd years. The other reason we've come together today is to raise money for Make-A-Wish Foundation, which is a very difficult task in COVID-19 and lockdown circumstances, very unique. But we're going to do our best today. Must also thank our sponsors, and we appreciate the ongoing support of McPherson and Patterson Cheney Toyota, Amazon, Star Journal, and the one that is close to my heart, RJ Sanderson and Associates. Now, I understand the door prize is a donation from Amazon, and we are very thankful for that assistance and support. We called a door prize, but if you did make a donation, you will go in and be eligible for that door prize. We were hoping for a car from Patterson Cheney Toyota. We did put some pressure on them, but no luck this year. We've got that listed as an action item for next year. Finally, a massive thank you to our guests who have registered. We hope we achieve our target for fundraising for this worthy charity. Enjoy your sandwich or soup or lunch of any sort while we run through our program. I'd now like to introduce our MC, Mr. John Shaw. And John, I do honestly love the Scrambled Eggs radio program. Start by telling us how you got into radio and what your history is with radio, etc. Welcome, John.
Goodness, thank you, Roy. Well, you're one of the stars of the show as well, because we drag you in there every morning for the tax tips. He's our tax man. Well, I think when COVID started, I just thought, and I used to do 3AW years ago as for a real estate section, and that was a lot of fun. And David Mann met me at a function and said, you should start doing something locally. I met these guys and I said, well, yeah, whatever you want to do, you can do. And it's grown from there. Goodness knows why, but we're 3 times the amount of streaming I've ever had before. So the show is very popular. We have a lot of fun. We just laugh and play music and basically take the you-know-what out of everything. And nothing serious. It's just fun and good music, as I said. So yeah, if you want to have a listen, that's great. It'd be good for you to jump on where you guys are. Probably the app is probably the best way. And yeah, it's good fun, and it's certainly been great segue from this, what we've been through the last 8, 9, 4 years, however long this thing's been going for, and hopefully we're very close to the end. But normally I'll be standing up in front of 400, Roy, well, whatever we would have got. There'd be balloons everywhere, Geelong and Richmond. There'd be footy jumpers everywhere. We're still having a holiday Friday. I can't believe it. We're going to drive 25 kilometres in one direction, stop and come back, because nothing else is open.
Drive into the city to watch that parade. Is the Melbourne parade still on, John? No.
I think, well, it's further than 25 kilometres away, so it doesn't matter. So, yes, so maybe the parade is on, maybe it's not, but who knows what will happen on Friday. All I know is all the people that are at home are having a day off. Maybe that's a good thing. So as we said, we've got a prize, which is a Nintendo Switch. So if you donate $20 or more, we'll do that for you. You go into the draw for the prize. I have no idea what a Nintendo Switch is. Maybe it's something to do with a light. Who knows? We have a video coming up very shortly from Make-A-Wish, which if I was there, it makes me cry every year. And yes, I've been doing it for 20 years, and I've only just realised I'm not getting paid, which is great. And same as the rate, it's the same rate as the radio show. Exactly. So it's fantastic. We've got a Carlton jumper for you guys to buy later on, and a wonderful media set from the Star Journal. But first of all, let's listen to, I think it's Renee from Make-A-Wish. She's going to say a few words for us. Come in, Renee.
Thank you. Yes, I think you can hear me now. I've unmuted myself.
Yep.
Thank you so much for the introduction. And yeah, biggest thanks for everyone at the Chamber for organising this first virtual event in these times. I guess we are pivoting, even though I don't like that word. It's the best way to describe it. So biggest thanks to everyone, to all the sponsors that have come on board to make today happen, and a big thanks to all of our Melbourne branch volunteers, Laurie and the team, who have been supporting you for a long time. This is actually the 12th year that Make-A-Wish has been the charity sponsor, and would you believe there's been over $111,000 that's been raised for us through these events. So that's just amazing, and has made a lot of wishes come true in that time. So biggest thanks to everyone that's been involved. Just a quick rundown for those who may not be aware of what we do and who Make-A-Wish is. We grant wishes for children from the ages of 3 to 18 who have been diagnosed with a critical illness. Luckily and thankfully, about 80% of the children who do receive wishes from us do go on to lead a very happy and healthy life. Unfortunately, there's a small amount of children that don't, and I guess the main aim for us is to, provide some memories for the families and for the wish children, and making those wishes come true, and providing them something to remember them by. COVID for us has been really hard. As you can imagine, we had to postpone pretty much everything that goes from our wishes to our fundraising events. So we've been hit pretty hard. Just to give you a little bit of an idea, in a usual pre-COVID time, we would have granted around about 380 wishes in a year. In the last year, we go by the American financial year, we were able to grant just under 300, and going into next year, we'll probably be able to grant about 150. So our wish capacity has been halved in terms of our funding, but we have 800 odd wishes that are waiting. So because we've had to postpone everything and the backlog of the wishes, it means it's going to be a couple of years until we can get all those wishes going. So the more funding that we're able to get, the more wishes we can help make come true. So thank you for today, because this will help in that. So yeah, we've got the fundraising link that's been put up in the chat. And if you've got any questions along the way, then please let us know. But I think we're going to show you a video now, which will give you a pretty good insight into what we do and how we rely on people like you. Sorry guys, it looks like we're having a few technical difficulties with the video at the moment.
Laurie, while we're sorting that out, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, John.
How are you going?
Good, fine, thank you.
You're normally up on stage with me every year. Oh, we might be back.
I'd like to be back up on stage. It means we wouldn't have COVID. But just in support of what Renee said, it's a tough time for Make-A-Wish. And to imagine trying to explain to wish children that their wish, yes, is going to be granted, but we're talking out to 2 years, it's a tough time. But the credit to all the volunteers that stay involved, they keep contacting the wish children and encourage them and explaining to them that the wish will be granted, and it's such an important part of their lives. I think you all know, Tegan, our granddaughter, got a wish when she was 7. She's now 32. She still has a life-threatening medical condition, but that wish that day was just unbelievable, and that's why we're involved and believe so much in what the foundation does.
Well, a lot of the things, Laurie, that the kids will be wishing for right now would be impossible as well. Forget the money, it would just be impossible.
Well, exactly. I mean, one of the biggest wishes is a travel wish, and I think it'd be fair to say, Renee, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's usually a wish family on the Gold Coast every week of the year. Well, obviously that's out for the time being, but even the smallest types of wishes at the present time are so difficult to put together. It's very hard, and just one example of how things like this COVID thing are impacting on people's lives. And the tragedy of it sometimes is we tend not to talk too much about the children we lose, but we have situations and have had in the past 18 years I've been involved where we get to the child, we understand their wish, we grant their wish, and then sadly we lose them before the wish can be granted. And in this scenario, of course, that's obviously going to be worse than normal. That's tough. We do urgent wishes, I should explain if we can. Renee, I'm not sure we're trying to do any of those at the moment.
Yeah, they're probably the only wishes that we've been able to grant throughout COVID were our urgent wishes, and most of them would have needed to be good wishes. So iPads, cameras, you know, we've been able to get a couple of puppies out as well. So yeah, do the best that we can. All right, the video I think is going to be put in the chat so people can watch that afterwards. I would urge you to watch it if you can. It really gives a good insight into not only the kind of work that goes into the wishes by our volunteers and our staff, but just the support, you know, that we get from our suppliers and our supporters as well. Make-A-Wish doesn't get any government funding for our wishes, so we rely on people like yourselves, our community partners and our business partners. So yeah, biggest thank you ahead of time. I'm now seeing that we can share the vid, so maybe we'll just do it. It's only a couple of minutes long and I'd love for you to see it.
Yeah, go for it.
It's hard to describe, and I've sat there trying to think how to describe what it means, but I can't. And I don't think ACE can either, because it's been our life. It's what's held us together. It's what's kept ACE going, because it's something to focus on. Instead of focusing medically, we focus football, and it takes away all the pain, I guess. He does suffer a lot of pain.
The wish journey is amazing. It's not just a wish that we give these children or the families. It's a huge experience. It's anticipation. It gives them something to focus on while they're during their treatment. And we take them right from the beginning, right when they get their wish pack, right until years and years after. The whole way through treatment she's wanted to see the snow, and I think after seeing it and seeing it falling and everything like that, I think, you know, she can pretty much conquer anything, this girl. Oh, I'm gonna cry. From the bottom of our hearts, we really do thank, like, you know, all the volunteers and everyone that donates to Make-A-Wish. And she's pretty tough. I think she'll be able to do anything now. We couldn't have done this for Isla. It's just amazing. It really is. Thank you to everyone.
Muted. You're muted.
See, I'm trying to be good and turn it off. I just forget to put it on. So, Laurie, those people that you said that were waiting, is that Australia-wide or is that just Victoria?
It's Australia-wide, John.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we treat it like Make-A-Wish is active right throughout Australia.
Yeah. That's just.
And just to point out as well, with just made me remember and just make an important point about the snow. All of the snow wishes from this year have now needed to be pushed to next year. And then we've got all the snow wishes from next year that would put on and on and on because we haven't been able to do them this year. So, yeah, it's sort of sad when you think about it. But, you know, I really just wanted to, again, say biggest thanks to the Dandenong Chamber and all of the supporters for doing something. You could have just said, no, we're cancelling this year. It's too hard. And we'll go again next year. So thanks again for putting this on. Really, really grateful.
That's really interesting, Renee, because I normally do about, let's say between 50 and 25 charity auctions a year, including golf days and things like that. And this is the second event for this year. So that's how many it's affected that have just gone. And it has been too hard for you couldn't play golf. So a lot of the people have golf days. So you weren't allowed to do that. So a lot weren't. And you can't have people in functions. But this is the second virtual. And I hope everyone's enjoying their virtual lunch. I am. There's just nothing here. Absolutely, virtually fantastic at the moment. I'm losing. And did anyone else find that when you, I just put some work clothes on the other day for the first time, and I had taken them to the dry cleaners, and they had taken them all in. So I don't know what had happened. What had happened there? Because all my pants were tight. So somehow I think we might have all been suffering from that, maybe.
Definitely.
Definitely, Roy Sanderson. So, Roy, while we're just waiting for David, I've sent him a text and hopefully he'll be on shortly because we're running early. You're doing sessions on 3AW as well. How are they going?
Yeah, they're going well.
Lots
John?
of questions?
Yeah, lots of questions. We take calls and questions about tax issues. It's been a very interesting time frame because of COVID, lockdown, JobKeeper, grants. So it's been maybe one of the better times or more appropriate times to actually be taking questions. People worried about pensions and the effect of pensions on what's happening. Yeah, been a very interesting time. So I've enjoyed the role on 3W. I know I'm on your station a couple of times a week, which is a good breeding ground. I've enjoyed that because we talk tax for 10 or 15 minutes each morning, and sometimes it's tax, sometimes it's other stuff, but it's always enjoyable. And 3AW is great on a Saturday morning, and I'm on every Tuesday with Dwayne Russell on SEN as well. SEN have done a great job of trying to promote, you know, their tax talk as well. We don't take questions. I just talk about a tax topic that's interesting. I say interesting, I'm an accountant, so I think it's interesting. And I just hope other listeners think that it's interesting as well. But it's certainly topical with all the things that have happened this time of year.
So you open up our show with a tax tip, but it's not really. And this morning's one was quite good. Would you like to share with our viewers the first thing that you said to us this morning?
The first thing that I said this morning? Well, the first thing, might not be what you're expecting. If you remember, I said to you that when an accountant tells a client what their tax refund is, we become the sexiest beast alive.
Yes.
Because you were playing a sexy song, if I remember.
I was, yes, yes, it was.
Yep.
And then I introduced you as our sexy accountant, and then you embellished that beautifully. But then what did you say after that?
I complained that I had been to the butcher's and I had seen that the butcher was selling 8 venison legs for $60. 8 venison legs for $60. Do you think that's too dear? Oh, a dad joke. You asked for it, John.
Yeah, I know. David has got his days mixed up. He thought it was tomorrow. So I just said to him, sorry, no, it's now. So hopefully we'll have him on shortly, unless he's doing something, but he probably can't. So we'll wait and see. He'll be there shortly. Too dear, Roy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can tell you something else. Do you know that 92% of gnomes in gardens have red hats? 92%. It's a little gnome fact. Sorry, 2 in a row.
This is what we have to put up with every Wednesday and Thursday morning at about 7:20.
I know that on this webinar, there's a number of my team members from various offices of RJS, and I know they hear these every now and then, and they are cringing, saying, don't do this, Roy, stop him, stop him. I can hear it.
Well, there's going to be, I think there will be certainly a career for you when you've finished with this, writing those very tiny little jokes that go in the crackers at Christmas time. They're perfect for you. Yep,
a career of some sort, but not in comedy. I think I got your point.
No, you could write those. No, you're doing quite well. I like the stakes were too high one. That was quite good. But yes, hopefully we'll have David on shortly. So who else is here? Lisa, how is it going with the whole industry at the moment, trying to get people, they're all wanting to get back to work. Some have reinvented themselves.
Yeah, look, reports from lots of business areas, and certainly our intelligence says that business sort of are in approximately 3 camps. So one set of sort of businesses are doing extremely well, in fact, really well, better than that they were pre-COVID. Another set of businesses are doing worse and doing it really tough and need additional support. And then there's those businesses in the middle that were already online and already had products and services that are tracking roughly the same. I think generally though, whichever category a business falls into, everyone is going to need a couple of things in the next 3 to 6 months. One is that they're going to need a COVID recovery plan for when they open. And the Chamber recently did a webinar on that. We had DHHS and Department of Jobs Precincts and Regions providing the latest information on how businesses can be safe when they reopen physically. I think the second thing is that lots of businesses will need a recovery plan in terms of gearing up and how they're going to manage new types of business or reopening, and how they're going to get that momentum going that they had prior to COVID, or how they're going to go from strength to strength in some cases. And then I think the third thing is that in amongst all of this, every person who is either a business owner or a business leader is really needing to know that the community support them, and that's the local community as well as their online clients. And so part of that is some of the campaigns with Go Local First, and we would encourage anyone who's in the Greater Dandenong area to support their local businesses, either with foot traffic or with online engagement through their webs or through social media, or by reaching out. I think there's lots of opportunities in terms of everyone re-engaging once our freedoms and once stage 4 comes to an end, which hopefully is in a couple of weeks' time.
Oh yeah, absolutely, no doubt. Sorry, I'm having to help the other end to try and find David, which is good. We're getting there. And I did find something for, it was 6 ways to help small business. 1 was write a positive review. 2 was tell your friends and family. 3 was follow them on social media. 4 was engage with their posts. 5 was to give them a shout out. And 6 was to sign up for their newsletter. And those things cost 0. Cost you nothing to do. And I think if we can all do that, that would be great.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, oh, sorry, John, go.
No, I was just going to say, are you doing anything as far as supporting people with what they should be doing to be COVID safe when they open? Because we all run the risk of, just, okay, we're open, how good's this? And then suddenly the $10,000 or $100,000 fine for a business can happen. So are you helping there?
Yeah, look, absolutely. So a week ago, last Thursday, we did our first Be COVID Safe for businesses who are physically opening. And we've got another 2 COVID safe webinars that are occurring, one in another week and then one probably in about a month's time. And they'll be regular updates and the latest information that business need to know, and it covers everything. So it's already sitting on our socials platform, so on our YouTube account. And Tamara can put some details in the chat box if anyone wants to follow the links, see the pre-recorded webinar there. We're just waiting for approvals, but we hope it'll be up soon. And I see that David Teague is with us, so I might end things there and hand it over to John to welcome David.
Thank you, and thank you, David, for joining us today. I'm almost certain you're on the same pay rate as all of us. We're out for our virtual lunch, and I hope that you've had some lunch. So I'll just go through a bit of your background before we kick it off, which is 33 games with North Melbourne, which I had no idea about. I thought you were just from Carlton, even though my family's Carlton. So 50 games with Carlton, coached the Northern Bull Ants, which is obviously blue to the Blues, to 2 grand finals. Assistant coach with West Coast, the Saints and the Crows, and Carlton's forward coach. And then it all happened on the 3rd of June 2019 as caretaker coach of Carlton, and then 5 days later, how this works I don't know, but it seems to work nearly every time, you go and beat the Brisbane Lions. So that was just fantastic. But thank you so much for joining us. Are you well?
I am well. Apologies for being late. I had in my diary for tomorrow, so it works out that I wasn't doing anything, so I worked out this timing. But I'm very well, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's worked out. Actually, it worked out very well for us because we got some stuff across our businesses that was very, very valuable, and we got to hear some more Make-A-Wish stories, which was great. So, were you always going to be in football?
Yes, yeah. No, I loved the footy. So when I was a little kid, I always thought that I'd play footy as long as I could, and then I'd go back to the country and be a teacher and coach at my local footy club. But then when I got down to Melbourne, the passion for coaching really grew, probably off the back of a teaching degree, and that want to help others and see others get better.
So are you from the land originally?
Yeah, I grew up in a little town, or just out of a little town called Katandra West, on a dairy farm. So if you want a job that has no holidays, no public holidays, no holidays at all, every morning, every night, you be a dairy farmer. So Dad, I learned a lot through that experience, seeing my dad work, and obviously the resilience in dealing with the weather and things out of your control. But he always said, work hard at school, and I think he didn't want any of us kids to follow in his footsteps.
So what was it like growing up there in a small town and being as good at football as you were? Were you in the seniors when you were 10?
Not quite 10. I started playing senior football when I was 15, but I think I learned a lot from coming from a small town, in the sense that everyone knew everyone, and it was about the community, and the football netball club was the community in the winter, and then in the summer there was the tennis and the cricket. So probably the only other thing was the schooling was religion that probably brought people together up there. And there's a couple of small churches, but other than that, it was how the community survived. Everyone would come together, even to the stage they still have community dinners on a Thursday night. And my parents have moved into town, or just on the other side of town. They'll still go out there to catch up with all their friends. So getting to grow up in a country town, it has its benefits in terms of care. I reckon I got told off by plenty of the other parents, not just my own, which I'm not sure I'd feel comfortable telling another kid off at a playground, but in the country they did that. So you had a lot of people caring about you, and it was I love my experience, and to this day I still enjoy taking my kids up there when we can. Haven't been able to do it for a while, but when I can, take them up to the country and get that feel of fresh air and being able to run around. I had a lot of freedom, which was nice. Nothing like it.
Now, so how did you break into the AFL? What was your journey into playing footy?
Yeah, I didn't get drafted as an 18-year-old. I played in the Murray Bushrangers, which is in the country. But having said that, I didn't love my footy with the Murray Bushrangers. It was a group of kids coming together to get drafted, and growing up in a small town, which was very much around the team and team success. I found the Bushranger experience very challenging. I didn't get drafted, and then I ended up coming down to Melbourne, and I was a top-up player for North Melbourne. They just started an alliance with the Murray area, and they called their reserves back then the Murray Kangaroos in the VFL. And I was a top-up player, and I was lucky. I was going to uni down here, so I got to train with North. At the end of that year, I got rookied at North Melbourne. Obviously, those games I played at North weren't very memorable to you, John. So I played 33 games there. Then I followed Dennis Pagan across, to be honest. I had 1 year under Dean Laidley, and Dennis, when he went to Carlton, he was keen to get me across. So I ended up going across to follow Dennis, and then played another 50 games at North Melbourne. And I loved it. I love both clubs. I still love North Melbourne. It's sad to see them struggling at the moment. And then I probably will... Carlton's probably become my home club out of the two now. One from the playing experience, but also then coaching the Northern Bull Ants and now at Carlton again.
Yeah, excellent. In my defence, I'm Geelong and my family's all Carlton. So when you turned up, they said, "We've got this good kid. He's really good." And I went, "Okay." And now your coach, they love you. So it's even better.
Well, North Melbourne didn't think they were that memorable. They got rid of me, so you're probably right not to remember.
So that's North Melbourne's loss. Was coaching always part of, or were you thinking of going back to the bush, or was coaching always part of your plan, or did it just sort of evolve?
Oh, look, it was, as I mentioned earlier, it probably was, but it was as a country coach, not so much.
Yeah.
I probably didn't know any other. When I was younger, I was pretty naive, and I probably just thought that I wanted to play AFL, and when that finished or didn't happen, I'd just come back to the country. And but once I started playing, and I was very lucky, I had some really good coaches that impacted me as a young player. And then along with a teaching degree, they were very similar. So I was either probably going to go teach somewhere or a chance to coach. And the one benefit of coaching at this level is you've got sort of 45 really motivated athletes versus a classroom, which if you got PE, you probably got half the classroom motivated, and if you got maths, you got the other half motivated. So to have 45 motivated students right now, eager to learn, eager to get better, I really enjoy seeing them grow as people, not only as footballers, as people. So I'm very lucky. I love my job.
That's fantastic. So, and when you were assistant coach over at West Coast, and then the Saints Crows, do you think that's working under all those different systems has helped you go into Carlton with a game plan?
Oh, absolutely. When I coached the Bull Ants, we made 2 grand finals. We didn't win, but we made 2 grand finals, and I probably thought I wanted to become a senior coach at AFL level really quickly. Once I went over to West Coast and working under John Worsfold, and Phil Walsh was an assistant coach there, and to work under those 2 guys and to see the way I operated, I learned very quickly there was so much that I didn't know, and I wasn't ready to take that next step. So getting to work now at 4 different clubs, and the learning, it's not always what you learn to do, it's also sometimes learning what not to do, and just sort of more defining your philosophies and what you stand for. And I'll probably change. When I first started, I was a halfback flanker, and I probably coached very defensively, and now probably Phil Walsh taught me that the game is about entertainment, and it's about exciting the fans, and without the fans there's no real game. So I've definitely changed and grown, and now I want to see scoring, and we still want to win, but I'd love to be able to win and score and entertain our fans. And poor Carlton supporters have done it tough for a while, so hopefully I'm pretty excited right now. I think there's a really bright future, and hopefully we can do that in playing an attacking brand of football.
So can we go back to your first senior game coaching Carlton? It was like 5 days. So can you walk us through that week? Would you mind?
Yeah, no, it was very interesting, because the Monday morning there was a bit of speculation about Brendan getting sacked, and to be honest, we got to the club and we all thought, it's all just talk. But then when we got there, Bolts wasn't at the club, and we thought, hang on, something might be going on. And then Brad Lloyd called me up to his room and said that Brendan was no longer going to be coaching, and they wanted me to take over. would I be interested? And I was that excited, absolutely, to coach this great club at any time. And at the time, I thought it would just be an interim coach. I thought that's all it is. And I didn't care. I thought great experience. I can learn so much about myself and about the club. And there was a few things I wanted to do differently anyway. So I think that's why they gave me the opportunity. But yeah, it was pretty quick. I know they said, I said, can I just confirm with my wife? I knew my wife would say yes, but just to let her know without going diving into it, without talking to her. And I finally told her, and her first comments was, does that mean you have to work Wednesdays now? Because I look after our kids on a Wednesdays. Her first priorities was, will my day off change? But I was lucky enough to maintain that. But she actually said that before she said congratulations. So to be honest, the most nerve-wracking night of my whole experience of coaching was that night. After I found out, we didn't really address the players that day other than what had happened. And I knew the next day I had to address the players. I'd gone over it 1,000 times in my head. I think I woke up at about 3 a.m. and couldn't get back to sleep thinking about it. But I knew that first time I spoke to them, I had to get them. I had to win them over, and I was probably aiming to win their hearts over more than anything else. And I remember the next day I'd planned, and once I got in the moment, I went totally off track. I lost my plan, but the players' eyes, they were staring straight through me, and I knew we had them. I knew they were excited, and from that moment on, it's been a lot of fun. That week was tough when we looked up at the scoreboard and we were playing exactly the way we wanted to play. And I think it was about 6 goals to nothing. And I can remember seeing the scoreboard and thinking, gee, I didn't realise we're playing quite well and we just hadn't scored. And I didn't realise we're that far behind. And I thought if I'm feeling that way, probably all the assistant coaches were as well. So I can remember in the box just saying, we just need the next 2. We just need the next 2. We're playing quite well. We want to keep playing this way. And we got the next 2, which helped. If we didn't get those 2, we probably would have been in trouble. But at halftime, I think we're still a couple of goals down, but the players just believed. You could just see that they had the belief that they could do it. They were playing a way that they hadn't played before. And for what they did, I think Patrick Cripps alone, he put the team on his back, and he carried a fair bit of load. Obviously, he was in conversations around what had happened during that week, and he just went out and played footy, and I think that was where he could express himself. And along with Ed Curnow, was probably the other one that he went to Lachie Neal and did a great job there. But once they got a bit of belief and got a bit of excitement, they really took off, which was it was a really memorable day, and something I'll never forget.
What a great story. Now, so you get the job, they give you the job, and so then you come into pre-season. And when did you learn that, probably like the rest of us, that the COVID thing had happened and it may affect things? So that was around February, March?
Yeah, we played our first game. So there was a bit of talk around it, what was happening. But we actually played our first game against Richmond, which was a bit frustrating because we didn't play the way we played a couple of good practice games, but our Richmond game was a bit disappointing. We thought we were a fair way off the standard we knew we could play at, even though we finished the game strongly. But I think it was on the Sunday that it got announced. But until then, we didn't know for sure. We heard there was rumours. They talked about shortening quarters because potentially that was in the cards. But before we played, we thought, yep, we're going to start. We'll play the first few rounds and see what happens. But it was a bit of a shock to the system. And then virtually within sort of 24, 48 hours, all the players were off. They raided the gym. They all took weights because they couldn't go to any gyms anywhere. Everyone had to stay at home. So they raided the gym. They got all the equipment they needed to and went home. And it was a really challenging period in trying to keep the group connected. But one of the things I'm really proud of our group is they train hard and they prepare well. And we felt that this period would help us. We thought we'd come back as fit as anyone and ready to attack the season, which the players did. To their credit, they handled themselves really well.
So when did you head off into what they called the different bubbles? When was that?
Yeah, so when we came back to training, we came back and it was we had a lot of rules around it. We had a training groups of 9 or 8. I think it started 7, went to 8, went to 9s. We couldn't train as a whole group. And then when we trained as a whole group, there was no contact. So we had to get through that for about a month. I think it was about 4 weeks of that. Then we played 4 games in Melbourne. And again, we played on a Thursday night. Our game got brought forward. We played on a Thursday night, and then by Monday we're flying out. So I think we found out Saturday that there was a chance that could happen. And then we flew out on the Monday for 32 days originally. It was the longest 32 days of my life, but it was definitely an experience. It was challenging, but for our group, I think it was great. We got to go away, and for some of our players, they had a ball. Like, it was tough for families, those with kids and coaches, probably more the staff that had families and different things. It was probably harder on, but some of our players thought they were on a 15-week school camp, which they loved. And the younger guys, particularly the younger, either single guys or just early in a relationship, they thought this was having a ball. They got to hang out with 40 of their mates the whole time, and there's plenty of games of cards. I think there was a FIFA tournament. We had a fair bit of fun. One of our goals was to have a bit of fun along the way, and we did that where we could, which was pleasing.
Well, that's amazing, because my next few questions were, did they get homesickness or did they miss their girlfriends? Clearly not.
Oh, some did. It wasn't for everyone. Like, there's the extroverts that love people and they had a good time. Some of the introverts that needed their own time, and we were. I thought we did a good job in planning the weeks. Being away with a footy team, you could easily go, oh, here's our chance to cram a heap of extra information into them, and it wasn't the physical toll; it was the mental toll that probably people, the players, found harder. So, from a physical point of view, our boys handled the shorter turnarounds reasonably well, but it was balancing, giving them enough free time, but then also giving enough routine to fill in their week. So everyone varied, and I think Andrew Russell, high performance manager, Tara Kavanagh, our psychologist, played really big parts in trying to keep the players' energy up. And I felt we did that. We didn't get all the results we wanted, but we were in every single game. There wasn't one game where we were blown away. And I think at the end of the year, we had the lowest losing margin, average losing margin, and we had the biggest loss as well. So in those sense, we were very competitive. We just probably missed a couple of opportunities to turn a few more of those close games into wins.
David, did you take your entire staff away, or did you leave some behind? Well, that question first.
Yeah, well, when we came back, the AFL put in strict rules that we're only allowed 24 staff to start with. So we ended up, we made a couple redundant straight away when it happened, because we knew the VFL wasn't going to go ahead. And we had quite a few guys, all our staff were on stand down for a while, except for about 8. And then we brought 24 back because that was what the AFL rules were. So some of those guys, some of our staff, some of our coaches and conditioning and physios, they missed out on being in that 24. And we learned quickly that the soft cap was going to get reduced the next year for football expenditure. So we targeted on what we thought would have the following year. So we prioritised the people we knew we needed next year. And I think by the end of the hub, it got up to about 30 staff. They allowed to add us a couple extra when it went for longer, but no, there was some staff that didn't come up. But since then, I don't think there was any staff member that didn't come up that's going to be at the club next year because of the new rules to do with how much expenditure we can use.
Okay, so it will be adjusted back. There won't be as many people working at the club.
No, so next year, I think in terms of numbers, it's about 33%. So I think it goes from 9.6 to 6.2, 9.6 million to 6.2 million to spend on your football program. That's everything in your footy program, from taping, if you go away on a camp or anything like that. So in the past, a lot of clubs have gone away on camps. I think there won't be too many teams doing that next year. And we prioritised our people. We feel we've got really good people at our footy club, and that was our priority, to hang on to as many good people as we could. But understanding with 33% of your budget gone, then some good people missed out, which was really sad.
Alistair Clarkson came out this week talking about the huge strain on coaches, and as we've seen at North Melbourne, not great things happening. But how are you managing work-life balance? Is there such a thing? And your Wednesdays, obviously you're working, or did you keep them? And how are you managing it so far?
Wednesdays. Yeah, I've kept my Wednesdays. That's my one day now. Having said that, I'll still do some work. I often spend that night coding vision, but I get the day to look after my girls. And to be honest, that's my day off in the sense of football, particularly in the day I play with the girls and have a bit of fun with them, which is really nice. I get to drop my son at school, which I really enjoy. We used to have a kick of footy Can't do that anymore with the rules, but we used to stay there and have a kick of footy after school and little things like that. So it is a challenge. It was a challenge this year, particularly in the hub. It was hard to escape football, and with the family, my family were on holidays anyway, so they came and joined us. But having 3 small kids in a sort of 2-bedroom hotel wasn't ideal. My wife was trying to work. My son was trying to homeschool. So, in terms of energy, you were tested. You were always on the go. So there wasn't too much respite. So, I think this year, I'm hoping this year is as hard as it'll get in that sense. But from a football point of view, I'm lucky. I feel I can switch off relatively well. I still have the odd morning where I wake up early and my brain starts thinking, but my switch off is my family. And I lost one of my sons just after he was born a few years ago. So for me, it's given me really perspective. I don't think I'd be as good at putting footy to the side if that experience hadn't happened. So when I can, I love to spend time with my kids.
Excellent. Now, as we all do, with trade talk at the moment, I want to talk about the game on the weekend, but we started late, so we're going to finish late, and you're going really, really well. We love it. Roy, if there's some questions coming through from the guests, can you make a note of them, please, because I can't possibly read them. Now, so David, with trade talk at the minute, you've now become like a destination club. People are saying Carlton a lot. Can you give us, look, we won't tell anyone. Can you tell us some tips of what's going on?
Yeah, look, to be honest, Carlton's done it hard, where in the past we haven't been. No one's wanted to come to Carlton. And I think that goes to the credit of the playing group and the club, Brad Lloyd, Kane, the way they've set the club up. I think we've got a really exciting playing list. We want to play an exciting brand of footy too, which I think the players appreciate. And that's the feedback we're getting from guys that are wanting to come to our footy club. So Zach Williams is, he's nominated us. So unless GWS match that bid, but I think we'll get him. Adam Sard's another one. So we were looking to add a bit of speed on the outside. We want to play an attacking brand of footy, so we wanted to get the players that play that way. And we feel those 2 guys both kick the ball really well. They've both got leg speed, and I think that'll complement the guys that we've already got. So they're the 2 at the moment. There might be a couple other little ones late, but at this stage, I don't think there'll be too much else from our point of view. But this year's probably, with list sizes reducing, salary cap potentially reducing, there might be some more changes happening. So we'll definitely play it by ear and see how we're going.
Is there still a salary cap?
There's still a salary cap. So every team's playing by the same salary cap. We're very lucky that we underspent in the last few years. So we've got a little bit extra for the next couple of years, but then it sort of comes back. So you've got 100% of salary. If you only spend 95, the next year you can do 105%. So we've had a lot of young players. So to be honest, when you're finishing last, you shouldn't be spending your full salary cap. Now we're starting to get to the stage where we think we can be really competitive, and we should be expending our full salary cap over the next sort of hopefully 5 to 10 years.
Even though I am a Cat supporter, I just wonder how they're going to fit all these guys in, because they're
Cats.
Yeah.
No, well, I think what's happened in Geelong, and Geelong have done really well, is their senior players haven't asked for the ridiculous amounts of money. So then all of a sudden, anyone underneath them goes, oh, this is what Joel Selwood's on. And when Patrick Dangerfield, I was at Adelaide when Patrick Dangerfield left, he was getting offered contracts over $1 million to go to certain clubs. But he went to Geelong because he wanted to play for Geelong. And I think the rule at Geelong was like, well, we have Selwood as number 1, so you're not getting paid more than him. So the players down there have just bought into that mentality. I think the club looks after them really well off the field as well, which it's a club where people want to go to. And that's exactly what we're aiming for. And I know this year Jacob Wiedering did it for us. His contract and the way he structured it up was really club first. And when you got leaders doing that, that's going to help you and take the club forward.
Yeah. Now, just before we go to the game this weekend, expectations for Carlton next year. What will be a pass mark for you guys in your eyes?
Oh, we want to play finals, and that's our goal. And to be honest, the fact this year we're in every game, once you get to finals, you go out there expecting to win, and our players believe they can win every week. We played West Coast over there, and we felt they hadn't lost a game there this year, and we felt like we were right in it. And I think up until halfway through the third quarter, we're winning. So our players have a fair bit of belief. We've got to become more consistent. We have a few lapses, but if we get that bit right, we definitely want to play finals. And once you make it, who knows?
Excellent. What's your thoughts on this week's night grand final?
It's interesting. I think the AFL flagged it, and there's been a few things that AFL have been flagging as options, and this is a year to do it. It's an interesting one. I think if it wasn't in Queensland, it gets quite dewy and wet at night up there in Queensland. So hopefully that doesn't happen for the sake of the game. And I think you'll see the scoring this year. Shorter quarters has allowed the defence to work better, and then it's also been a bit dewy. So both these teams handle it. They're both contested teams, so it really suits them, and they're pretty defensive minded. So I think it's exciting. I thought Richmond were probably the best team 6 weeks out, but having said that, I actually think if there's one team that matches up well against Richmond, it's probably Geelong. So I'm pretty excited. I think it'll be a great game of footy.
So you will watch it?
Absolutely, yeah. And I've watched all the finals. I love watching the games. And this time of year, these are the games. The game changes slightly. There's teams that will win games in the home and away that don't win finals, and it's for a reason. It becomes a bit more of a contest. Your stronger bodies. There's a lot more one-on-ones. So no, I love this time of year. This is what footy's about.
So before we go to Roy with the questions, who's going to win and why?
I think Richmond. I think they're tall forwards, and if Richmond can give their forwards enough supply, I think they've got the tall forwards to get it to ground, but then they've got the small forwards at their feet. I think if Geelong had any weakness, I'd say it's their speed in the back half and their ability to bring the ball out. But having said that, you've got Selwood, Dangerfield, Ablett, Guthrie, Duncan. It's a pretty awesome midfield / half forward line for Geelong. If they can get their hands on it enough and get it into Hawkins, I think they're a chance as well. But I'm going to go Richmond close.
Okay, so then Dusty wins the Norm Smith.
I'm going Duncan if Geelong win. Duncan to win it if Geelong win.
Oh yeah.
And Edwards to win it if Richmond win.
Okay. Yes. All right. Now, Roy, do you have anything for us, Roy?
Yeah, David, we've got a few questions. If I can fire through, I'll try and pick out those most relevant. You've answered already some of them. First question was, with the immediate departure of Brendan Bolton, how did you galvanise the group in the first days or weeks? Was it back to basics? Was it harder on the track? Was it bonding? What did you do in that first few days or the first week?
Yeah, it's a good question. Our group were pretty tight even when that happened. So it wasn't about bringing the players together. What it was about was we talked about their strengths and we call them their weapons. We said, we want you to bring your weapons. So we talked about picking everyone. It was a blank canvas for everyone. The past didn't matter. We were going to pick what we thought was the best team. And an example of that was Lockie O'Brien probably wasn't in the team. He was a great runner and a beautiful kick. And we said, we just want to see that. And I think he ended up playing the rest of the year last year by just bringing his weapon to the game. So we really focused on that. And then the other area, we changed our game style slightly. We wanted to be more attacking, which gave the players energy. They wanted to attack more. And then we wanted to be a bit more aggressive with our defense.
Thank you. Another question is, and I think this one's from Aaron, who's, I'm sure, a Carlton supporter. Kate Simpson has retired after, I think it was 17 years on memory. His skills on and off the field will be a loss to football and Carlton. Do you know if he's involved in football and is he involved with Carlton going forward?
Yeah, look, nothing's been finalised yet, but there is a possibility that he'll be involved somehow. There's talk. We've got a VFL. We're going to have a standalone VFL program next year. We've also got the AFLW program. I think he's going to get a business, sort of 9 to 5. He's going to set up a business. At this stage, it's looking around the garden maintenance and lawn care is a possibility at the moment. But we're also thinking there might be a chance to keep him around because he obviously brings a lot of value. The players love him. He's been so professional. You don't get to that many games without being professional, and we don't want to lose his knowledge.
Excellent, thank you. April was curious if you personally prefer shorter quarters or if you're happy to go back to the normal length of quarters.
Yeah, I'm probably the normal length now. It might be biased by we've got quite a good running team, but defenses hold up for periods of times, and when they get tired, that's when teams score, and I want to see scoring. I think as I think the ratings have been through the roof this year because of the defensive styles. The games are closer, but for me personally, I want to see the guys going for big marks and kicking goals, and if we can kick 13 goals minimum every week, then at least one of those I think our fans will get excited by.
Thank you. Brett Collins has asked your thoughts, whether you've heard the Stephen Silvani comments this morning on SEN, where he felt that the club had, and I'll quote, thrown his sons under the bus as a result of the conflict reasoning behind his sacking as list managers. So Sauce is obviously not all that happy. Have you heard the comments and your thoughts on Sauce leaving and his sons? That one's still at the club, I think, and one might have been let go.
Yeah, I haven't heard the comments. My kids were down at the park this morning, and my kids, it's hard to do two things and play with them and folks. So I haven't heard the comments. Look, it's been a challenging one. Obviously, Stephen was a great player for this football club, and he'll always be remembered as that. It's an interesting position. We've seen in the past guys that have worked the club, even at the moment, John Blakey, who's been at Sydney for a long time, has left, and wouldn't surprise me if that's got a little bit to do with his son coming through as a player of Sydney at the moment. So, yeah, look, I know Sauce probably wasn't overly keen to leave. He did a good job with our list build in terms of he's brought a lot of talent into our football club. But for me, he'll always be a Carlton great, and that we need to remember that.
That's all the questions. I might just throw back to one from myself. Mark of the year went to Sammy Walsh. It was a running back, not looking at the pack, no fear. I recall David Teague in the year that you won a best and fairest for Carlton, doing that on regular occasions. What did you think of the mark, and were you happy that was Mark of the year?
I thought it was an outstanding mark. Anytime when you know there's people coming, regardless. I know he said he didn't know Charlie Dixon was coming, but he knew people were coming. You know, you just have an awareness that there's going to be contact, and that's what you need of your wings. I thought it was an outstanding mark. Look, people might love it. I didn't think it was probably the mark of the year, but then I didn't think goal of the year was right. I thought one of our boys, I thought Cripper might have won goal of the year. Or Nunes has won. So I think we got one, which we probably deserved. But I thought the other marks, and even some of the marks that didn't make it, there were some great marks this year, and that's what we love about the game. So it's good that they get recognised, and it's a nice reward for Walshy. But I just love the way he grew as a player this year.
Thanks, David. I'll throw it over to John to wrap it all up. Thanks very much for attending, David. Much appreciated.
Not a problem at all.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you, David. That's with a false start, but we did well. And as usual, our footy guest, even though it's been virtual this year, it's our first time to do it this way. But this has been absolutely outstanding. You're as I thought you would be, just natural and fantastic. So good luck next year for the Blues. For the rest of my family, I think it will be good. So thank you for attending today.
No, not a problem at all, and happy to help anytime for such a great cause.
Oh, that's fantastic. If you're happy to hang around and sign some autographs, that'd be great as well.
Yeah, no worries at all.
Now let's get to our auction. I have no idea how this is going to work, but this is. Are we doing the Carlton jumper first, Roy?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Okay.
The way this can work, if you want to bid on this item, you jump into the chat section, and it already has your name there, and you just bid how much you would like to pay for this item.
I'm holding up the jumper here.
And on the screen it tells you, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. So that's all there, and there's the Blues logo. If you've
got a certificate, John.
Normally now I'll be saying, are there any Blues supporters in the crowd? And people will put their hands up, and that's worth like 10 bids. So even if you don't, we should get David off because he's frozen. We should, even if you don't barrack for Carlton, you should buy this for Carlton supporter, because I think this will be the cheapest jumper we've ever sold because it's virtual, but you never know. So bid through the chat function, as it says there. I'll have to bring the chat function up. If someone can see it.
I can see we've already got bids.
We've got bids, yes. $400, $500. Goodness me, this is working, Roy. This is great. So I don't know how long we've got to chat for, so we'll give you another couple of seconds to keep bidding. So $550, this is awesome. Just keep throwing money. Come on, just keep throwing money.
We know it's worth more than $550.
Yeah, it's 550 now, I think.
Bruce has it at 550.
Bruce Holling, 600, 650. Aaron, good on you, 650. This is fantastic. A virtual auction happening before my eyes. This is great. So keep going, folks. Don't give up, for goodness sake. Come on, Bruce and Tammy and anybody else who's had a bit. There you go. Now it's 670. Oh, that's pushing it. 670. So we better make the next one 700. There it is, 700. It's getting much more than I thought. 700. Imagine if they'd have won the flag. $700. 700 quickly. We're going to sell it if you don't bid. Oh, 750. Goodness me, we might be stuck doing it like this every year, Roy. 750. Wow. Okay, 750. Are you finished? If you're finished, we'll sell it. If another bid comes in the next 30 seconds, we'll keep going. But if not, that's called extended bidding.
Bruce has got it. Bruce has got it.
At the moment,
You reckon 15
Bruce,
seconds?
Quickly. Bruce Hollingsworth, going, done, sold. Thank you, Bruce. Well done. We'll give you a clap.
Well done, Bruce.
Oh no!
Oh wait.
750. Oh no, he's there. Yes, he's there. 750. Okay, awesome. So our next item and our last item, because I can't sell nothing because I can't see you. Should we sell nothing, Roy? Because this would work pretty well.
I think we got donations at $20. I think what we'd really love is we'd really love people just to jump on and donate.
Yeah, all right. Okay, yeah, because we can't join them up, can we? No. So we have the marketing package. I've got to get rid of that for the minute. We've got the marketing package, 8-week online advertising campaign on the Journal website, 2 social medias, posts on the Dandenong Star Journal Facebook site, and including half a page advertisement. So this is worth $2,000 or $3,000 if you were going to buy it from someone who wasn't working there. But so I've got no idea what this is worth. Have you got any idea, Roy?
It's worth $1,000, I believe.
Worth 1,000, right? Okay. And
the Dandenong Star Journal, great supporters of the Chamber of Commerce, great in the this region, #1 paper, well read online, and brilliant articles. I reckon if there's a business person online right here, if you were to put in, it's $1,000 worth. Gosh, if you put in 500, you're getting half price advertising.
Yeah.
But if nobody wants it, we'll give it back to the Star and just appreciate the fact that we didn't get a donation. But any business who operates in this area, it's worth something.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. Oh, well, my business is over in Chelsea, so I can't help. But I'm sure there's businesses out there that do want it. But as you said, Roy, I'm sure if we hand it back, they will give us some money. So especially if they're listening. I think RJS, I don't see any RJS team members voting on this at the moment because they're scared of spending the boss's money. I think RJS, we'll start it with $300. Oh, there you go. That's a bargain. So we'll imagine that's there. Oh, there it is. No, it's not. Well done, Bruce. Good on you. Okay. So we've got your bid at 300, Roy, and we'll sell it to you. That's fair enough. So that's wonderful. What about my friend from Grenda, David? I'm sure you need this, David. So because you're saving a fortune because you're not buying nothing for $500. So, but let's keep going for a minute, then we'll wind it all up, and then we need to announce our winner of the virtual raffle. And I'm getting very hungry because my virtual lunch hasn't turned up. So all right, Roy, I think you've owned that.
Yep.
You've got a bargain. Sold.
That's a bargain.
Yeah, that is a bargain. That is fantastic.
Hang on, Lisa Brealey's put in 350.
Oh, there you go. Good on you, Lisa. Can she have it, Roy? Or do you want to go to 400?
No, I won't go 400. But Lisa Brealey, can you give us a plug to the business that you're buying?
Yes, that'd be great. Solve Safety. Go on your Solve Safety. Well done. I think unless we get another bid in the next 15 or so seconds, they're going to get $1,000 worth for 3. This is like buying $750. This is cheap. So quickly, going, unless someone else bids. Done.
Solve
Thank you.
Safety.
Yes.
Lisa,
all done.
If you change that, Lisa, to everybody, all panelists and attendees, I think you can do that. Solve Safety and put a phone number in. That'd be a good plug. And what he does.
Yep.
Good plug for your business. Thank you.
And I think we've only got a couple of things left to do, Roy, which will be announce the winner of our donations. Do we have any idea how much we've made at all? Is there anyone that can pop that up on the chat? That would be great if we could. If we can't, that's fine too. And if we can pop the winner of the, congratulations, Self-Safety, yes. If we can pop the winner of the...
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
there's the winner.
I've got to get rid of chat. Hang on. Oh,
Amaresh.
yes. Amaresh, congratulations. You have won, and everyone that donated to Make-A-Wish, that's fantastic. You've won the Nintendo Switch, which obviously you need to turn on a Nintendo. I've got no idea what it is, but it sounds it's fantastic. It's $400, I believe. So congratulations.
The Switch is good, John. It's actually a Nintendo machine. You can play it on a small machine. You can play it on a TV. It has not only video games, but exercise things as well. Really good for COVID.
So it's like Netflix.
No, you've got to get up and exercise.
Okay, good. Okay, Roy, over to you to wrap it up for us. Thanks again. Oh, look, it's been terrific. It's been very different, and hopefully next year we are back at Southern or somewhere, and we're all seeing each other again, and we'll have a 21st party.
Yes, that time went quick. I'm surprised at how quickly it went. So a final thank you to those that registered. There were so many of you. That's awesome. Great support. Special thank you for those behind the scenes. It included Tamara Moore and Tiffany Murray. Tiffany and Tamara run the chamber. They are the heart and soul of it. They're not only very skilled at what they do, but they're wonderful human beings, and we appreciate the work they put in. The amount we raised, by the looks of it, was, ready for it, drum roll, $4,478.15. So 4,400, that's fantastic. Congratulations to everybody who contributed and joined us today, because, as I said early, it is so difficult to raise money for a charity. Go, John. You're muted, John, you're muted. Rookie mistake, you're on mute.
The difference between the accountant and the real estate agent is that you said 4,000, I would have said almost $5,000. So
right.
That's the difference.
We raised almost
that is fantastic. It's, well, 4.5. That is just brilliant. So thank you so much.
Yeah, special thank you to you, Mr. John Shaw. We appreciate it. Thanks to the sponsors, our special guest, David Teague, much appreciated. It will be the year of the cat or the tiger for 2021, and the best of luck to both teams. Have a great afternoon from Roy. Over and out. Enjoy your lunch.
See you next year, folks. Thank you so much.